Hey, crypto family. I'm Nemesis with the Crypto Brothers. This one, I was actually had somebody ask me about this one. Justin Literature is the name that he goes by, and I can't participate in any ICOs. I'm in America, so we're not allowed to actually participate directly into any ICOs. So this one here, Scidex or Scidex, I'm not sure exactly how they pronounce it. This is not something that I could participate in, and it's from going through some of this, it doesn't look like it's something that I would even really be interested in myself. I'll kind of dig into it with you guys on this one, kind of my thoughts on how I go through anything. None of this is advice, of course. This is just kind of my own opinion and my own thought pattern of whenever I'm looking into a new coin or into an ICO myself, if I think it actually has real use case. I like to see coins that or companies that are being disruptive to their space. In other words, it's not that they're being bad or anything. It's just that they're for the space that they're putting into, they are making an impact because they're doing something a little bit differently. This to me doesn't seem like it's anything really too much different than what's really kind of already out there as centralized formats, considering that this really does to me read being centralized. So let's kind of dig into this a little bit. So Scidex, unlocking smart contracts for businesses. Their front page, kind of a little blob. If you see here, they got their token sale details on here, that being, of course, first. That's kind of like a little bit of a red flag one. And then they got, this is kind of like an unusual setup, two different white papers. One's a little bit more technical than the other. This one I'll kind of dig into with this on a little bit. I'm not going to read the white papers. If you guys want to do that, you can do that on your own. I always implore people to do your research, read the white papers, see what it looks like to you. But this is what I look at. So media mentions this stuff really doesn't mean anything to me. This is just places of where they've been able to hype it up at, or if any places made mention of them in any way, shape, or form. One thing I don't like is about this website is it's actually a little on the rougher side to see. I mean, I wear glasses and all that good stuff, and I still find this small print that they're using, it's horrible. They could have actually done a little bit of a better layout on here, made it a little bit easier on the eye to read. I don't know if it's color format with this too, but it is really kind of hard to read. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose so that you're kind of just discouraged from it. But they have kind of like their little knowledge base. What this is that they kind of talk about is putting in information into the blockchain. So they're like for the insurance companies, governments, banks, stuff like that. So they also are very compliant. They're looking to be compliant too by implementing KYC protocols, which shows that they are centralized. So to me, they're not really providing anything for data collections than, using the cloud data. I don't see really too much difference on that from this, other than maybe what their price point is and a potential kickback if anybody uses this platform. But they dig more into that aspect into their white paper. In this, they just kind of talk about, on their main page, they talk about the exchange on this. They talk about a little bit of the data coming into it. how people can pull data back out. They talk about some of the founding team members. I don't know any of these people. None of them look really familiar. Some of them are dealing with security. Some of them are just software writers. He's done some project management before in the past. But again, I mean, I'm not really familiar with a lot of the people behind this program. So, but they do list a few big name, Quark Chain. I mean, but stuff that you can put in here on your website, I can put anything that I want on here, but does it mean that they're really a partner? Or do you just have a picture of each other just shaking hands like a few other places? They show their roadmap here, how they got their concept last year, the validation behind it. There's just kind of like their little bit of the roadmap on there, that they're going to be coming out with their alpha release at the end of this year. They're talking about beta release if there's no setbacks. So this is an ICO, so they don't even have a working product. They've got an idea here. And then coming down at the bottom here, these are kind of where you can follow them on for their community of people. You can look at their GitHub and actually look at their coding. If you guys know anything about coding, this is where you guys would know that this is where you would look at their coding behind the scenes and kind of lift the hood. Kind of like I would say for an automotive car, you lift the hood to look at the jewelry box. For code writers, GitHub's the jewelry box. So where I would kind of start off coming into would be reading the white paper. And here it's like they started talking about the founding team, and sometimes I'll data check that and go back and forth, make sure that their main pages are lining up. Are they talking about the same people? Or did they make a mistake somewhere? Or do they have bad grammar that starts leaking out through this? Their white paper seems to be overall well written. No obvious bad grammar to kind of show that it is scammy. But in this main portion of it, this main portion, they're just kind of talking about. Actually, this is where I wanted to be at. The first portion of the white paper, they kind of talk about a lot of the technicals and how their programming works, and it really just kind of talks about how they move the token around. They don't even talk about really so much the data through here. It's really just about how the token works, where some people got some of their ideas, the Ricardian for a digitally signed contract that was created in the mid-90s. Some of this stuff, I'm not really understanding of it. I come from more of an automotive background, so some of the digital history I'm not very well transversed in to be able to fact check this aspect of it. It is a little bit of a long read, so if you guys want to read this, kind of get ready to sit down. Some of it even I don't even understand. It looks like it's well written for the most part, but you come into this portion. This is in their second part of their white paper, and they start talking in here about how they're for the government, for the bank, for the insurance companies, how it shows that they're kind of being centralized. They don't have any mining operations supporting their network. They use oracles. That's what they call their nodes. The nodes have all the knowledge. They have all the power, which shows that they are very centralized. Inside of the programming itself, They have a little insider governance behind everything. That they have like a voting system where they kind of try to reward you to input your own data in there. So if you input data and somebody looks at it, they have to pay in order to look at it, so you get a percentage of it. So it's kind of like saying that they're going to be better than the cloud data storage. So you can store all your data here instead of that they're in the cloud or in a server farm. And it's going to run a lot like Steam, where you're going to be able to upvote things. So people who it's almost the way that it almost reads is that it's going to have people who adopt in early are going to have the better power within it. It reads really close to how Steam is going to be with their rewarding systems. But here's where another red flag to me is that they have this company here, Asmatech. I tried to actually Google search this because any company that's going to say, hey, I'm working with you, I want to sit there and actually kind of get to know some of the behind the scenes. What is this company all about? So what did I do? I Google searched it. And here I am on page 3, and I haven't seen the company Asmatech up on here, or anything that relates to that name being utilized in an actual asthma research company or an asthma or in any kind of medical company. And this is in Google. I went on to Bing. Same thing. They start breaking down what asthma is. I'm very well aware of what asthma is. But again, I didn't see anything in here that's relating to the company that they're talking about. That's a little bit of a red flag. I mean, otherwise, some of the stuff that they're talking about sounds okay, but again, I don't see them being enough disruptive in that industry to be able to take away from industries that are already in place, that are more centralized, work faster, and have already got the securities in place that they already trust. You got your cloud services. There are multiple different server farms out there where you can store a lot of data with them. So they haven't, to me, inputted any kind of a use case to me that I think is relevant, especially when they're saying that one of their own customers is a company that I can't even find. That just raises another red flag. Here's another one for how they're actually distributing their tokens. So they've got just under 20% for a private sale. Okay, whatever. Just under 10% for a public sale. Now, that just is like a little unusual. It's like you're going to have such a small little market being able to be traded publicly. I would think that you would want more adoption in the public and actually offer more to the public to have them on board. And then here's my big one, 16% to the team. Why does the team need to have such a big cut? I mean, I can understand getting a payment and getting paid over time from the work that you're putting in, but it just is a pretty big percentage that they're actually getting. And then for, it's like, they are doing a good amount to the community so that people can actually buy the data, which they actually need. This is where they need to be making their money, is where the community starts to actually interact. They shouldn't be making the money from basically the initial coin offering. That should be going into the whole foundation. They shouldn't get paid until they put the work in and have a working product that's actually being utilized. So to me, this is something that raises another big red flag in my book. But again, you know, it's like I'm just some dude talking about, you know, crypto on the internet. You know, what do I know? I'm just a car junkie. I love my hot rods. I love dragsters and all that good stuff. I love Bitcoin mining, and something like this it's not mineable. It's a node. I know that a lot of the newer coins are being nodes and everything like that, but to see on an initial coin offering so much going to the team, it just raises a lot of red flags in my book. You know, it's just a lot of they've just have too many red flags for me to want to even remotely consider this. If they're around in a year or two, I'll take another look at them and see if they have a working product and see how that product's actually working at that time. Does it mean that I'm going to invest in at that time? No. It just means that I'll definitely keep an eye on it if it actually goes somewhere. But I don't think this one will go anywhere, unfortunately. But that's just my opinion. With that being said, anybody has any kind of comments or any other information, heck, if you guys can find that company that they're talking about, let me know. I'd like to research even that company. I mean, I can't find them, but that's just me. So with that being said, drop a comment in down below, and if you like this content, smash the like button, hit the subscribe and the bell notification. All that good stuff helps me out. And with that being said, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.